prosperity, and plenty of great times coming up this year. Um, but we'll introduce our guest, Mr. Derek Scott. Co-host, Mr. Derek Scott, who is the chair of the Democrat Party here in Escambia County. Jill Daggs, who is with the Okaloosa Democrat Party, and Mr. Vernon Watson, where you'll be watching this show, WBQP TV, Roku Fire Stick, YouTube, and of course our Facebook pages. Derek.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to all. I hope everybody had a safe and enjoyable Christmas and New Year's. We will go around with our normal roundtable, but in addition to doing what we need to know, if you could just share what your New Year's resolutions are, and I will start with you, Mr. McIntosh.
I didn't make it in the New Year's resolution. I guess to make some more money. I guess that's the New Year resolution. Get some more finances. I guess that's about it.
Okay. Is there anything that we need to know for the sake of for the good of the group? Or
just that we got an election coming up in January for Moving for Change for all our board members and those who want to be on the board. The president, financial secretary and treasurer, vice president, all of that is coming up with Move for Change this month. And we hope that everybody participate. Of course, I'm running for the presidency of the organization once again. And after this one, I'm retired from the presidency and the leadership after these 2 years, for good. Yeah, hopefully, anyway.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Mr. Vernon, do you have anything for the good of the group that needs to be shared? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Jill, I guess we will go to you.
Good evening, everyone. So, do you want me to do my New Year's stuff first, or let's do the other stuff?
No, do your New Year's stuff first.
These rules in 2026. Okay. So, my New Year's things are the following. I have decided, if you know me, you know this is difficult, that I'm only going to eat cookies one day a month. I love cookies. I love them. But I've decided one day a month. One of my dear friends said, does that mean you can only have 2 cookies? That's not what I said. I said one day. That means I got 24 hours to eat as many cookies as I want in that month. One day. I'm going to drink at least 3 bottles of water, so 48 ounces. And I have decided to wear my hair this new way for at least 30 days. And then I have some mobility challenges that I'm restructuring. And hopefully we're going to pray that that goes well. I wish it was just because I want to do it. It's more so because I'm in so much pain that I have to make some changes. So that's where I am so far. I wanted to go with things that I could achieve and not just say, oh, I'm not doing that. So some of them are a little bit more difficult, but achievable. I didn't want to I guess I needed to say make more money. So I'm going to be like, Jerry, I need to make more money, but that wasn't on my list. So maybe that'll be on my list after January. For the things that are going on in Okaloosa County, we have a lot of things that are about to happen. So I try to do this long list, and Derek, I can't remember what I think I sent you, and I'll tell you when I get to the stuff that I sent you that I remember. So January 8th, there's a couple of things going on Okaloosa Island, 1250 Miracle Strip Parkway. You have the opportunity to sit down with the city manager, have coffee with the city manager. And then also on January 8th is the Okaloosa NAACP general meeting at 6 o'clock. And then we have the Saturday, January 10th. So for Fort Walton Beach, their MLK time is like 3 different days. So they start January 10th. They do their oratorical and poetry contest at 10 o'clock. That's at Fort Walton Beach High School. And then on the 18th, Sunday the 18th, they do a full program, and that's at Beulah First Baptist at 5 p.m. And then the actual parade is on Monday, January 19th. Lineup is at 8 o'clock at the Fort Walton Beach Civic Auditorium. Starts at 10, and then they'll go to Chester Pruitt Park, and they do a whole layout at the park where we can do voter registration, we get information, we find out what's going on, and just a good time to fellowship afterwards. So Crestview will also have their parade on that day, and they start at 798 Martin Luther King Avenue, and they march. So they don't have like a parade. They march to the city center, and then they'll have a program there. It usually lasts about an hour to an hour and a half. So you would have time to go there and then get to Chester Pruitt, but you can't do both parades or marches together. And then the Okaloosa DBC, the Democratic Black Caucus, is accepting membership. Okaloosa, Santa Rosa, Escambia, Walton, and our other 23 chapters across the state, I believe, have membership drives for us. And I think most of us are the same. So I'm going to say this, and you guys can correct it, Christina and Derek, that if you're 65 or older, or a student, it's $30. And if you're 64 or under, it's $50. That covers you for the entire year. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot to do. So we're excited that we have that opportunity. Also, Okaloosa DBC will have their meeting on January 13th at 6 p.m. Via Zoom. And then, Derek, I believe I gave you the Crestview is having January 30th. They're starting their kickoff for their Mardi Gras. The 31st, they'll do their parade. So that's exciting. And then, I'll let that get up on the screen. There you go. So it should be fun. They start that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so it should be exciting. And then the next thing they have, which is a big deal for the Crestview area, is Triple B. That is a barbecue with vendors come in. People come from across the country to eat barbecue, to see the different vendors. It's a huge event. They have over 10,000 people that show up in Crestview, Florida. So we just are kind of giving you ideas of things that you can do, along with all the things that we need to do, like registering to vote and voting, to give you some fun, along with the work that we know that we have to do in 2026. And then, Derek, we're going to go over Judy's thing later. Yes. Okay. All right. Then that is all I have, right? Oh, no, he said do it now. Okay, perfect. So we are helping out our neighbors down the road. Judy Mount, who was the vice chair for the Florida Democratic Party, she worked in Tallahassee for many years supporting our legislators, is the DEC chair in Marianna, Florida. And she has this phenomenal event. I should have sent the pictures. We should have put up the pictures. But it's boots and blues and boots. So you have to wear blue and any kind of boots. So it doesn't have to be cowboy girl hats and stuff. But for some of us who are cowgirls at heart, we're going fully decked out with the hat, with the boots, all of it. I'd have a horse if I could bring it with me. But it's $20. It's a great time. And this year, especially exciting, it's always exciting, but this year we have the Honorable Ken Martin, who is the Democratic National chairperson, coming to our area. So they won't be in Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, but right down the road. It's an hour, hour and a half away. And that's exciting for him to come. He came maybe 6 years ago, but he was a representative or a senator then. He wasn't, the chair. So to have the chair come all the way over here, we want to make sure we show up. And then, of course, we have people that are running for office. So we have Angie Nixon and Jerry Demings that will be there. And I'm sure she'll have some other people, but it's at the Armory. It's exciting. You just kind of come, kick back, Jerry, jeans. I don't know if you could do it because Mr. McIntosh is always like decked out. But if you could find somewhere in your wardrobe some blue jeans and some boots and a cowboy hat, we'd love you to join us. But that goes for anybody. Again, it's just blues and boots, so you don't have to go out and buy something special, but feel free. We carpool over there, and it really is a great time. So that's all I have. I'm looking forward to it. She's excited. Young to the seasoned, everybody's invited, and we can't wait to see some of our seasoned friends, family come with us. It's going to be exciting. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. You're welcome.
I want to go back and say, I know Jill saying you have to wear blue jeans and boots and a cowboy hat, but I don't wear boots. All right. And so you can go if you don't have a cowboy hat and you don't have boots. Now, I will say you probably do want to wear jeans, but you're not going to be turned away. If not,
no, you can come in anything, and you can actually, I say jeans, you could come in with blue shorts if you wanted to. It's just wear something blue. It could just be a blue shirt. You wear khakis and a blue shirt. So it's blues, and it should say or boots. But Derek, don't take away from the fun of it. You should put up the picture. Pictures sell it. I'm telling you. It's fabulous.
I don't want anybody to think, oh, I can't go because I don't have.
Oh, no. Everybody's invited. This is their fundraiser. I'm not quite sure. We're going to ask this year what they do. They obviously are doing something great because they raise a lot of money and it's in their community. But we haven't figured it out here yet. But I would love to find a way to do what they do there and do it here so that we can reach more people. Thank you.
What up? Touching us out. Good evening, Christina. Do you have anything on behalf of Santa Rosa County that you would like to share?
I do. So thank you. It's great to be here. Good evening to all. For Santa Rosa County, there will be a commemorative service at Mount Pilgrim African Baptist Church January 18th at 6 p.m. They are doing a canned food drive. There's no cost to attend that service. The parade will be on Monday, January 19th. It will begin at 8:30 and it will go down towards MLK Drive. And then the block party will be on MLK Drive. They'll have a portion of that blocked off. And that will be on Monday, again, June 19th, right after the parade. And then there is a MLK prayer breakfast. It is $20, and that is on Saturday, January 17th at 10 a.m. That will be at the Santa Rosa County Auditorium. And for more information, please reach out to Dr. Desi Lee. And if you need his phone number, I will gladly give it to anybody who would like it.
Okay, thank you for that. As we move on over to Pensacola, I guess I will have a couple of things to share. I just want to highlight maybe we'll ask someone from the MLK CCC committee to come on next week. But as you know, in Escambia County, they have a list of events that are happening for the MLK weekend, and it starts the 15th, which is going to be the theme of the MLK weekend in Escambia County is "With Unity, We Won't Turn Back," and they're going to have the 15th, Thursday the 15th is the Youth and Young Adult Night, which is at 7 p.m. And it's going to be, we're going to have Minister Jonathan Stallworth. And then on that Saturday, there is the Martin Luther King prayer breakfast, again, with Unity We Won't Turn Back, which the speakers, Dr. Delvin Williams of St. John Missionary Baptist Church of Panama City, Florida. Tickets are $20 per person, or you can get a table of 8 at $160. You can purchase tickets by calling Reverend Dr. Douglas Young at 850-417-9451, or you can reach out to the Zion Hope Primitive Baptist Church on Leonard, or the First Baptist Church of Warrington on Merritt Street. You can purchase those tickets anywhere between 9 a.m. and 12 noon, Monday through Friday. Again, tickets are $20 per person and $160 for the table. Then Sunday, we will have an MLK religious service at 4 p.m. where the speaker will be Pastor Lee Walker Jr. of the New Home Mount Meigs Missionary Baptist Church, which is located in Montgomery, Florida. That will be there. And I think everything is taking place at Zion Hope this year, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, it will culminate into the Martin Luther King Parade, which is that Monday at 11 o'clock a.m. The Grand Marshal is our very own Commissioner Lumen May, which is County Commission District 6. So please make sure you join them. Again, the theme is "With Unity, We Won't Turn Back." It starts at 11 o'clock. And so you should be there. So what I will ask is that if you are interested, the Escambia Democrats would love to have you walk with us. We are inviting you to participate. We have space for you. We're asking, again, parade starts at 11 a.m., but we're asking if you're walking with us or would like to join us, please join us at 9:30 on Spring Street. We will be lined up somewhere between Garden and Government Street. Usually we're close to St. Joseph's Catholic Church. So if you want to reach out to us, certainly we will be there. You're welcome to join us. All hands on deck. We would love to have you. And finally, as we move forward, the Escambia Democrats are going to start their candidate canvassing this month. We're going to resume that, and we're going to be picking up to get petitions signed for the candidates that have come forward that are going to be running in this midterm election cycle. Those who have already determined that they're going to be running. We're going to be knocking doors in January, most of February, and some of March. So we start knocking doors on the 24th of this month, again on the 31st. Then on the 7th of February, we're going to take off for Valentine's Day and resume again on the 21st, and then culminating in the 28th of February. And then we're going to do March 7th, the 21st, and the 28th of March. So if you would like to join us, please join us. We meet at our headquarters at 1:30 p.m. at 2618 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. We're in the corner of Dr. Martin Luther King and Cross. We would love to have you. We pair you in groups of 3. We give you a small training and tutorial on how to canvass, the most effective way to knock doors, and then we send you out and about. So it's a great opportunity to meet some new folks If you've never met them, knock on folks' doors and give everybody a sense of knowing that there are Democrats in Escambia County if they didn't know, because we get that all the time. Oh, I didn't know there were Democrats here. And there are quite a lot of them. So I'd invite you to join us at any one of those events. And then we move forward. And as we go forward, I'm sure that we will touch base, but we're putting it on everybody's calendar early on March the 3rd and the 4th. I'm sorry, February 3rd and 4th. Equal Ground, along with the NAACPs for statewide, I guess, will have their day at the Capitol. This is a great opportunity. There will be a bus that will leave from Pensacola, but it will make stops in Okaloosa County and then again on Walton. You can get on the bus, although I'm not sure what the criterion is at this moment, but certainly if you are interested, please let us know. We'd love to have you. It's a great opportunity. I know the bus departs from Pensacola at 3 p.m. I'm sorry, at 3 a.m., excuse me. And then it will make stops in Okaloosa and then again in Walton County. So we'd love to have you join us. Jill, you have something you want to say on that one?
No, when you're done.
I'm done.
Oh, I just want everybody to note that it's 2026 and Derek had a different rule for me. I had to give my New Year's resolution first.
Oh, I forgot.
And he did not, nor did he ask Christina to do it. So I just want everybody to know where we are in 2026. I'm sure he just forgot by accident. And then you're going to ask Christina to share also.
Yeah, please. So I don't want anybody to think that I have different rules for Mr. McIntosh and Jill by making them share their New Year's resolution, because that is absolutely not the case. I forgot. I was so in tune to trying to get the graphics up so that we could have a great show that I neglected to talk about my New Year's resolution. But I will go back to Christina because she was first. So Christina, what are your New Year's resolutions?
My New Year's resolutions are to be better at actually sending stuff to my kids that aren't here. I'm good about calling. I'm good about texting. I'm not as good about putting something in the mail and sending something. So I want them to actually be able to get something from me other than a call or a text or something delivered by delivery. So that is my New Year's resolution.
Great. Thanks. All right. So if you would like to know what mine, I have 3. Mr. Villasno. All right, Mr. Villasno. Add him to the list. And what I will say is for myself, for 2026, my New Year's resolutions are 3 things. One would be to continue. For those who didn't know, I embarked on a journey of drinking water from October through, it's only supposed to be 1 month, but it ended up going all the way through 2 months towards the beginning of December, where I just drank water only. I didn't have any juices or teas or sodas or whatnot. And so I lost a few pounds from that. So I'm going to incorporate drinking water more frequently so that it is water during the day and maybe a tea or juice for evening drink, and that is it. My second New Year's resolution is to get haircuts more frequently. And don't look at me like that. If you can wear yours for the month, I can get my haircut more frequently. Leave me alone, Cletus. And then my third is I am going to be more active. So that for me looks like I am going to start walking every day. I ordered myself a weighted vest because I'm going to lose all of the weight that I put on since I've become chair of the Democratic Party here locally. So I see you rolling your eyes. Just I can see you didn't even hide it over there. But I'm going to take off all the weight that I've gained in these last 3 years. And so I'm going to start that. That's going to be my new music. If I could find a gym that does these fun classes that I see on like TikTok and stuff, where they're doing exercise to like trap music and stuff like that, I'd much rather do that. But until then, I'm just going to, so that is it.
Just for
Yes.
the record, my eyes rolled because you blamed the Democrats. Like,
No, that's not what I said.
Well, that's what you said. You
No,
said,
that is not what I
since I've
said.
been the chair of the Democratic
Since I've
Party, you
been
didn't need
chair.
to say that. You could have just said, since I decided to eat it, your favorite place every day.
No, since I've been the chair, that is it. It coincides with me being the chair. So that is the time. That's what we're gonna stick with.
Okay.
So that is that.
No.
That's my three. Mr. Bill Snow, Happy New Year. We were sharing anything that is good for folks to know, and then what if anything you had as a New Year's resolution. You're on mute. I'll mute you. Go ahead. I muted you. You're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Happy New Year, all. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
We hear you.
Because I got my red mic, look like it's muted over here. But Happy New Year just the same. It's so good to see each and every one of you guys. And just so glad to be in the number in this new year, because last year had a number with it. I didn't make any New Year resolutions, but I do plan on, just like I did last year, on exercising more. That worked all the way through to, I want to say, January 6th or 7th last year. But my resolve, Mr. McIntosh, my resolve is to do a whole lot better this year. That's the only resolution I have. Making more money, man. I'm listening to you and Jill, the ones that already have tons of cash, resolving to make more money. But I think I'll jump on that bandwagon as well.
Oh, I did have another one. That was my fourth. And I'm going to say it's going to be my declaration. I'm not sure when, but I'm going to buy me a new car. So that's it. That's my fourth. It's my fourth declaration. See, it doesn't help. Even when you put your hand over your face, it does not help. So thank you. That is all I'm saying. Let's move on, shall we? I don't want no comments from the peanut gallery. Thank you and good day. Going back to you, Mr. McIntosh.
Just really definitely want to talk about the invasion of Venezuela and what it entails. I just want to hear what y'all, Bill, what you think about what has happened.
Jerry, man, I'm flabbergasted. I can't wrap my mind around this guy dragging us in potentially what could be World War III. Venezuela has some really, really great ties with Russia and China. And for us to go in there and say that we're now running Venezuela is mind-boggling, Mr. McIntosh. To proclaim it be one thing and it's totally about rich oligarchies and oil and blood money and blowing up boats. It's amazing where we have gone in only 11, 12 a year. It's amazing where now. My hat is off to Chief of Staff Susan Wiles, who went on record publicly to say, "Hey, I've been telling these clowns I'm not with this." That woman is smart enough to know that these clowns are going to jail, Mr. McIntosh. They are breaking the law in every aspect of it. How are we going to hold a dictator in Venezuela to American law when our own boy, it's so hard to call him president, but our own guy that's in the White House doesn't even abide by the laws of the land. I'm flabbergasted. I have no words. I can't wrap my mind. And then he's proud of the fact that there may very well be boots on the ground. Our sons and daughters are now no longer policing us. because the court stood down and he's finally seeing the light. But a lot of those folks, they are going, mark my word, he may have escaped jail the first time around, second time around, and the third. But somebody is going, some heads are going to roll when we take back this house at the midterms. Them folks are going to jail, impeachment talk is already. But to go and declare war himself when Congress has the right to do that, I'm just at a loss, Jerry. I just can't comprehend what's transpiring in our world right now.
Christina, what you think? What is? How do you feel about this?
Oh, complicated. Absolutely complicated. What is very clear is his actions. He should be in jail, and everybody who agreed with that should be in jail. And I'm appalled by it. What I would also say is that this isn't something new, that America and many of the Western allies have a long history of creating destabilization in other countries, particularly in Africa, Latin America, South America. I think what's unique and different about this is when it was done in the past, it was very covert, and this was very overt, almost braggadocious, as if, see what I can do. And it's horrific in that. I would say that my feeling that this is absolutely wrong, a unilateral decision, does not diminish my support of the troops, many from this area that I'm sure participated in it. I know there are many Venezuelan Americans who are hopeful right now, either at a chance of reunification or a chance that the country will now prosper. And that makes this difficult. It doesn't make what he did right. And what I would clearly say is Trump cares nothing about anybody but himself and his interest. 100%. I also was very suspicious of that 1776 payment that went out, and I said, that kind of looks like the steak and lobster meal that you get when before you deploy for a mission, and it's just by a different means. So for those who have deployed or gone on missions, a lot of times you get this really nice dinner before they kind of drop what's going to happen, and that's what that 1776 payment looked like.
This guy has gone as far, Christina, to say that we are now running the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A country that has sworn in a vice president interim. He has gone as far, and Rubio won't even speak boldly to say that is the most ludicrous assertion that can be made, that we are now running Venezuela. You might as well say they're the 51st, 52nd state.
Well, and I mean, and I would add that Ukraine has been begging for help from the U.S., begging for help from the U.S., and Ukraine doesn't have oil, So we tell Ukraine, no, we're not fighting your wars. We're not the world's policemen, and then we do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the oil. It's always been the oil.
Yeah, the biggest reserves, over 300 million barrels. Yeah, the biggest oil reserves. Yeah, in the world right now, not in the region, but in the world. So it's most definitely about oil. We know it's not about drugs because he just,
Look at what he just did for the Honduran leader.
Right, absolutely.
He just pardoned the Honduran leader who had been convicted. I mean, that is so hard for us to get a conviction like that. He pardoned him.
Right.
So it was never about drugs. It was never about aggression. It was never about any of those things. It was about the oil. It was about the natural resources. I'm sure there'll now be a Mar-a-Lago somewhere in that area. So I mean, it's just a
Yeah,
matter of
he's
time.
going to build a Trump Tower in Venezuela now, since we now run it. Absolutely.
Yep,
The emoluments
exactly.
clause is going to be the one I think that may bite him really, really bad. But he's going to some heads are going to roll. I assure you, some heads are going to roll. He started this when the leaders go after their opponents. He started all of that when he came down that escalator. But I hope that the gloves are off, and once we get the chance, we follow through. Jack Smith can take a long vacation, as far as I'm concerned, to take 4 years to get nothing done, as far as I'm concerned, to be testifying on the Hill. Now, what good is it? I still fought. I've seen a poll that said that the Democrat Party is responsible for all that's transpiring in the world, and I stand on that fact that we are responsible for all of this madness that's taking place. It's easy to point the finger and blame Republicans, but we allowed this. We had the opportunity to take care of business, and we faltered, and we are reaping the whirlwind. So hopefully when the midterms, when we, because the country, I mean, they've had a lot of defectors from the Republican Party. And when we get the chance this time, I hope we follow through. Letitia James, he cannot get because people are wise, and the handwriting is on the wall, and people are recognizing it. And lawyers, judges are saying no, we're not signing on. Yeah, I'm not losing my career as Cohen did, following up this maniac.
I would say it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And I don't know where it's going to go. I do stand with all those serving that are being put in impossible situations. I am 100% against the actions of this president. I'm 100% against what we did. And it just opens the door to so much. What I will continue to say is this is not uncommon for the United States, the Western world, to do this. What is uncommon is just how out there, how absolutely assured he was, how, like I said, I don't want to say braggadocious, but I mean, went in and kidnapped a leader and his wife. And
In the dead of night, and got him in a New York jail. I mean, that is amazing. Well, just as the world stood by and 6 million Jews were put in ovens, the world is standing by and letting this maniac do as he wishes. And yeah, it's going to be up to us, the people, we the people, to stop this madness. Cognitive test. He thinks he's doing something by bragging on how good he does on his cognitive test, not realizing that being asked to take one once a month speaks to his mental state. He's too cognitively impaired to realize that they're asking him to take one once a month. Says a lot about
him. What's your thought on this? Did Derek froze? No, he just. You're on mute, Derek.
Just say no. I'm here. I was just reading our Facebook comments. As we go through, just a couple of things from, let's see, Calvin Brothers.
Yeah.
He said, I must be very clear. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. I don't like what happened. I will say, though, this is not the first time in U.S. history that this has happened, because in 1989, the United States sent military troops into Panama and arrested Manuel Noriega. And then and then it's also my understanding that the president that was taken was not the elected president. There's a young lady, I don't know her name, but she's supposed to be the president. And the people in Venezuela are cheering that the president that was taken. They're glad he's gone. And again, I'm not saying what Trump did was right. There's always a way to do things. I'm just saying at the same time, this isn't the first time the United States has done this. And Tamara Moon said, I lived in Panama during the invasion. I encourage you to look into the connection between Noriega and the U.S. prior to his removal, and then look at what happened in Panama when it was all said and done. This has never happened before and never works out. This has happened before and it never works out for the victims, and it's never about democracy. And Shirley Breaker said, the hubris, shaking my head. I think to Mr. Calvin Brothers' point, I think two things can be true at the same time, right? I won't speak for the people of Venezuela. I don't know their plight. I don't know what struggles they have. So maybe they feel that this is a good thing. If you look at the people that were cheering and are excited, maybe they feel that this was the appropriate thing to do. However, what I also think to be true is don't play in my face and don't think that I'm stupid. This is not about narco terrorism. This is not about, gang violence. This is a very much rooted in economics in the United States economy. I want to play something because there is a lady who breaks this down. I was watching this on TikTok the other day, and she had a very good breakdown of historically what's happened in Venezuela and where we are today, that I was like, this is a very good take on what she says. So I wanted to play it. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. So listen to it, and then we'll come back to it at the end.
While it's booting, I might add that Noriega and the United States were very diplomatic and were in good terms before things went south in that situation. But we did this with Saddam Hussein. We did it with Muammar Gaddafi down in Libya. It's an ongoing theme. You're absolutely right. This is not anything new for the United States.
Yeah,
Not hearing any audio, Derek.
What?
We're not hearing any audio.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it.
Can the rest of you hear it?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I think it's just you, Mr. Vernon.
Yeah, I'm hearing it loud and clear.
Because I feel like doing history metaphorically difficult. Number one, pre-1998. Pre-1998, Venezuela had a huge oil supply, actually, biggest in the world, and the biggest stakeholder was a U.S. company called Exxon. Why is this important? Because of their huge oil supply in Venezuela, Exxon took it over. So the vast amount of profit, the percentage of profit, went to the U.S. And Venezuela as a country got next to nothing. And because of this, their economy started to fail. And as their economy started to fail, guess what? A dictator waiting in the wings wanted to jump in and save themselves from God knows who. Oh, from the United States. How do I get stake in oil companies is taking over the entire world? Number two, 1998. That's not right. I hate it when I can't write numbers properly. Hugo Chavez was a democratically elected president of Venezuela. Now, once he got in, again, I say democratically, he started to push towards authoritarianism, and he started reducing the checks and balances of the democratic system. Side point, does that remind you of anybody else? He also started to rewrite the Constitution to solidify his dictatorial power. Parallels are really uncanny. 2002, a woman named Maria Machado, ignore how I said that, but keep that name locked in your head because she's going to be important later, created an organization called SUMAT in order to overthrow the Chavez government. Psst, who do you think was funding her operation? You guessed it. George W. Bush, President of the United States at the time, was funding her through the National Endowment of Democracy. You know what? People just make up names to mean anything nowadays. So through this National Endowment for Democracy, the United States funded Machado in order to overthrow Chavez. And when it didn't work, Bush said, "Not my problem, I didn't know anything about it." And she was eliminated from all political life going forward. And then, in 2002, Bush was a very busy guy. Number 4, in 2007, Chavez, reinvigorated with power and an authoritarian regime, decides to nationalize Venezuelan oil. Ruh-roh. That meant that Venezuela took all of Exxon's money, all their oil, and all their access to oil, and shifted the lion's share of profits back to Venezuela and left Exxon, well, not a lot of money. P.S. Exxon then sued and won $1.4 billion in a claim. But what kind of international police force are we going to get for Venezuela to be forced to pay Exxon? None. After that huge shift of economic power, Venezuelan oil dropped from 3 million barrels a day way down to 700,000 barrels a day due to corruption and, let's be honest, informal sanctions put on them by the United States because they just stole a bunch of their money from corporations. Stole might be a U.S. word, considering the oil was on Venezuelan land and considered a Venezuelan resource. But who's counting? The U.S. really does imperialism out of 10, don't they? Ooh, new chalk. Number 5, a guy named Madero, used to be the VP of Chavez, takes over, and he starts building an even stronger authoritarian government. I forgot the year. 2013. Obama calls the drug cartel and this particular regime a threat to democracy and national security of the United States. That's then followed by Trump putting on economic sanctions in 2017. Are you with me so far? This is about to get interesting. Interesting, I mean even more corrupt. 6, 2025. I brought you right up to the present. Maria Machado, remember I told you to remember that name, wins the Nobel Peace Prize. And who does she dedicate it to? None other than Donald Trump. And it's at this point that Donald Trump begins attacking boats, Venezuelan boats, calling them drug cartels, talking about revitalizing and restoring democracy to Venezuela, and talking about how they're a threat to national security. And guess what? The U.S. got to go in and save some people. Oh, and P.S. Donald Trump wants his oil back. It's the ending that's really going to get you. The big question about why Donald Trump is doing this is why, and I think the answer is going to surprise you a little bit. Number 1, he is going to claim that he is going to liberate Venezuela. Guys, always be careful when the United States of America liberates anything, because usually it means they're going to take it. And he's going to install Maria as the president, formally excommunicated from all political life, but she's going to serve a purpose. Number 2, Machado will then give oil rights back to, you guessed it, Exxon. 80% goes to them, 20% back to Venezuela. Everybody's happy and a new power is installed, but that's not the only reason this is happening. This last one's going to blow you away. Number 3. Is it about oil? Absolutely. They want control of the world's biggest oil supply, but that's not the full answer. What the real answer is U.S. currency rates. Follow along, this gets tricky. Oil has always been traded in U.S. dollars, called petrol. And what that has served the United States in doing is solidifying, is stabilizing, is increasing US dollars. Because if anybody wants to buy oil anywhere in the world, they have to use US currency. It artificially inflates the price of the US dollar and stabilizes the US economy. This is the real problem. Because what Trump and the United States is really afraid of are BRICS nations. What are they? They are nations, they are countries that have gotten together and are starting to trade without the United States, especially oil, and not use the US currency as their trading denomination. And that is going to possibly submarine the US economy. So is it about oil? Sure, but what really it's about is about the United States being able to control the entire market of trade when it comes to oil, thus inflating and propping up the US economy. So when somebody says, is it about the oil? Say sure, but that's just a vehicle for them to control everything else.
I just thought that was interesting. Like when she broke it
Very interesting.
about the currency, I was like, okay. I don't know that I knew that, you know. And when I hear petrol, I'm like, that's British people call it petrol. I didn't know that it was actually currency name called petrol. It's something new every day. So
Yeah, you know,
right.
that's
right.
That's why France is so hostile toward Burkina Faso and Mali and all the other nations over there, because they kick them out and they start controlling their gold and their oil and their uranium. And it's the economy of France is, you know, is in trouble. And so this is one of the reasons Trump went into Nigeria on the pretense that he's fighting for Black Christians.
Right.
You know, if that was the case, you'd be fighting for Christians over here, Black Christians, and be concerned about Christians. You'd be concerned about the Klan. You know, you would stop them. You would stop police brutality, you know. But we know that it was a lie from the jump street, because they have a huge deposit of oil over there in Nigeria. But they, you know, the younger people over there are saying to these old heads over there, you know, you've been puppets of these foreign governments and spending our money other places. You got 4 and 5 houses in the south of France and houses in the United States and in Britain and Germany, but you know where your assets are, but you're doing nothing for the economy of the country that you're supposed to be running. And so this is how Toure came to power, because all these guys were nothing but puppets of France and Great Britain and all of them, taking the resources out, not building any roads. Toure have built more roads, highways, and transportation avenues since in 3 years than they did since 1960. That's 50 some years ago. That 60 some years ago, that they haven't, you know, he done built more roads in 3 years than they did in 60 years, and more companies, more factories, schools and hospitals that they did in 60 years. So this is what they want people to stop. But it just, you know, I know people saying, it's people protesting, you know, happy that Maduro is gone, but there are others who are protesting, saying that they don't like what has happened and they are for Maduro. You know, but they are, you know, the person that she's talking about that they want to put in power is from the right wing. You know, these are people who don't care nothing about their constituency, care nothing about the poor people of Venezuela, because they're going to live good. But the people, the majority of the people over there, the poor people, the middle class, is going to suffer.
Absolutely.
Chavez was right when he nationalized the oil and said, we're going to use the oil to help our people here. We're going to sell it abroad, but, you know, we're going to buy our resources, you know, and this is why so many people over there was they were, under Chavez, they were doing good. But then they put sanctions on so they couldn't sell the oil, and put blockades so they couldn't sell the oil. Because they were selling to Cuba, they were selling to other countries as well as the United States. But the United States decided, well, we want to control the oil, so we'll disrupt Venezuela, which will cause disruption across in this hemisphere and those different countries that's close around the Caribbean and all of that.
You also have to understand that Russia and China are big buyers of that Venezuelan oil.
Yeah.
How can Trump say that Putin should or call for peace with the Ukraine war when we've done pretty much the same thing? This also gives China the wherewithal to say, hey, maybe I can go ahead and invade Taiwan. I mean, we're saying one thing, but we're doing something completely different. That's why we are considered the great Satan, what the United States and they are. But, we just happen, we're collateral damage. But that's why the world frowns on us so terrible, because they quote, in God we trust, when God is the first thing from what they trust. They trust.
That goes back to Mossadegh in Iran. He was elected and he nationalized the oil over there. We took him out and put the Shah in power. And, once we put the Shah in power, we were cool because we were getting the oil for almost free because we had set him up.
That goes to B.J. Brunis's statement as far as people talking about the Venezuelans cheering. They cheered, he said, when we went into Iran or Iraq, should I say. And look at the people now where the Taliban is pretty much running things.
And the sad part about it, we have destroyed these countries just so we don't have to buy their resources. We want to take it for these big oil companies. And this is what this is about. These big oil companies, they find oil on these people's land, they do, exploit it, and then don't want to share the resources after they have, we used our material. Well, yeah, you use your material, but that's not your oil. That's not your resources. You just use something to help get it out the ground. But this is what they have done forever, and it just Chile, Allende in Chile, and just a whole host of people, Patrice Lumumba, and Africa. Just continue. It's a continual something that they do through the CIA and other forms of other agencies that they use around the world to disrupt and destroy other people's countries and cause people to be suffering. If they was concerned about Christians, they do something about the people in the Republic of Congo, where children in the last year, over 600,000 people have died in the court because they cut off the aid to those countries through the medicine, the food, and all of the things that has helped people. Some 600,000 people now are dead as a result. This is murder. It's really murder. You are trying to eliminate certain parts of the population.
Right. Yeah. You would think that Venezuela, with a population of 34 plus million, would have had better intelligence as to how that whole thing went down, man. I mean, you get a president that goes on the evening news every evening saying his days are numbered and that he's coming for you, he's coming for you, he's coming for you. And we've got CIA on the ground tracking his every move, his meals, his pets. And I would have thought that with a country that large, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it doesn't appear that a single American was lost, which is a good thing. But I just would have thought that the intelligence would have been a little bit better than that for a nation as big and wealthy as Venezuela.
If you got people in your inner circle that's spying on you and feeding the intelligence to other people, and you they tracking it, your every move is because there are people who are close to you. Those are the people they needed to be watching. Those
Right.
individuals around.
I think we have that here as well, Brother Jerry, but ain't nobody got to our madman.
Jill, you was about to say something.
Yes, because Bill, I love when you're here. Sometimes you say things, or I'm like, did you just say that? So I think you said Venezuela has 34 million people, and they should have been able to figure out. That Trump was going to come. And how many millions of people do we have in the United States? And we let him become president. Do you not think that they're saying the same thing about us? You would have thought.
Yeah.
After he wrote a book on it, Project 2025, and told you exactly what he was going to do. And that currency thing is in Project 2025. It's deeper than she even went, because what he wants to do is to reduce the dollar so that you actually have to make it gold. And he can't do that unless he has control. So that what she said makes sense. But it's funny that you would say, I'm like, come on, girl. Like, I know they sit.
In my defense to that, because I agree wholeheartedly, Jill, with what you said. But in my defense to that, I believe in my heart of hearts that the election, with the help of with Elon Musk and his tech savviness, I do believe that the election was stolen.
And I'm going to say to that, I can't tell you whether it was stolen or not, because I don't know.
Me too,
But I
Bill.
will say, I know
believe
you
that
were
with my whole
waiting
heart.
for
They
that. You've
rigged
been
that one.
quiet this whole time. You were
Look,
waiting.
man, when this guy goes on records and tell a Georgia governor, all I need is 88,106 votes and still can't be touched, some tomfoolery is going on. But please believe me.
Okay, well, so whether we believe you or not, I think here's my concern.
Jill.
Wait, let me tell you what my concern is. My concern is, if that's the truth, then how come everybody's not up in arms? They're not upset. They're not like, sometimes he does stuff like this and you have a group of us that they just kind of said, oh, okay.
Because the answer to that is because we're outnumbered. That's simple. The ones that go to the polls,
so we can't say anything.
The ones that go to the polls,
say nothing because we're outnumbered. Well, we're outnumbered right now. So should we do nothing in 2026, or should we fight back?
Well, we're gonna. The numbers are shifting. We won't be outnumbered in the midterms, but we will be outnumbered.
People are just not to change their minds.
Right.
Because reality is the reality. We are outnumbered.
We are.
People need
in Florida, 1.5 million. We're outnumbered by.
We are outnumbered.
That's all.
Hey, Bill.
By a huge majority of people didn't even bother to vote. We are outnumbered by registered voters, but here in the state of Florida. But if people decided to register and vote, a problem would be the Democrats probably would be leading. But just like nationally, almost 100 million people decided not to vote.
I'm just going to say it again. It's 1.5 million people that who are registered voters that are Republican or Democrat. Right. So you said, I just want to be clear. I want to make sure I heard you. You think that if people register, they're going to register Democrat to the point that 1.5 million are going to take the lead?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if people did decide to, and that's if they decided to. I'm sure that with all the shenanigans that's going on now, that people are beginning to see and beginning to wake up and see that, hey, wait a minute,
that's
this
right.
is drag us all in, it's going to drag us all down. So I do believe, Bill, that Elon Musk had something to do with the election. Trump said it out of his own mouth. He said it out of his own mouth that Elon Musk helped him to win the election.
He said it.
Absolutely.
Bill,
can you hear me, Bill?
I can hear you loud.
Okay, everybody hear me. Okay. This one I got to chip in, okay? I'm chipping in. But you, Jill, from Bill to Jill, okay? The reason we don't have a lot of outcry about that because they cheated so overwhelmingly well, okay? And it left no doubt that folks think, well, if he won by that significant amount, it must be the will of the people. Bullshit. I don't believe that. I will go to my grave believing that this 2024 election was completely stolen. Okay, completely stolen, and it will come out later. It will come out later. So now I'm on record. I agree with you, Bill. I agree with you, Jared. And a lot of folks don't agree with us, but it ain't no way in hell that we went through this process with Donald Trump, okay? And 4 years of that fool, all the criminality, all of the sexuality, all everything, all the false assassinations and all that bullshit. And then we still elected that fool. Ain't no goddamn way in hell I'm going to believe all that. Okay? No way in hell. So,
and the beauty of where we are now as opposed to where we were then is the fact that all of those folk that voted, all of those federal workers that have been furloughed, all those air traffic controllers that have been fired, all of those park rangers, all of those folk voted wrong. And they are, all of those folk that had student loans that are being made knowing that their checks are about to be garnished. Man, there are over 1 million folk that Elon Musk and them did terrible inside of the first 2 months of this campaign here. That the tide has changed, along with the folk Jerry is speaking of, Democrats that did not vote with the people that have their family members have been affected by. You got people, they say at the Thanksgiving dinner this past year that were avid Trump supporters were hoping that his name wasn't brought up at the Thanksgiving dinner because they have no leg to stand on. The tide has changed, and the early midterms has shown which way this thing is going. Mondami went to the White House. I don't think he should have gone as bad as the boy treated him, but he went and convinced him that he's the man for the job. But there's a tide. It's a tide coming in, and it's fixing to change. And I stand on it, Jill. You can take this or leave it alone. But some heads, some folk going to jail.
Okay.
Hey, Bill.
We're going to remember that you also said that he would not be in office. He would not be on.
Because I didn't know
If he won this election, we would have been in office.
I didn't know Elon hadn't fixed it when I made that proclamation.
You said he wouldn't be on the ticket. He didn't fix him getting on the ticket. He got on the ticket all by himself.
I did say that.
Crazy, so they had yesterday on the mind.
I did say that. I did say that.
Hey, now I want to do another Vernon Watson. Let me put this in. I want to do another Vernon Watson conspiracy theory about Donald Trump. I think he's a closet gay man. I think he's closet gay, okay? You think about all of action. Then he fell in love. He fell in love with Mondani because he was pretty. He fell in love with what did he talk right now? Anyway, that's my conspiracy theory. So you don't have to. It had nothing to do. Let me put a disclaimer about this show, okay? You don't have anything to do with the show, but it has to do with my personal opinion, what I think about him, okay?
Okay, we got you. I just want to read a couple of the comments that are coming from Facebook. I think Bill, you read BJ's when he said, "Remember how the Iraqis celebrated when Saddam Hussein was captured? Now now Iraq is over by the Taliban." And furthermore, we got Shirley Baker said, "Ashe, people repeating history." Margaret Hofstadter said, "The economy in America is really in trouble. It is on a cliff, and we have probably already been in a recession for some time." Ms. Shirley Firestone said, "Jerry, you are so right." Calvin Brothers said, "To your point, Mr. Bill, that's why part of me felt like there was a part of the inside job as well to make this happen. I thought the same thing, like how did they not know?" I lost it. Somebody else. I thought the same thing, like how did they not know did he not have access to the information? Like, I think there was a lot of things that happened he just didn't have access to. Shirley Firestone said, "Bill, I agree. They should have been better prepared." Calvin Brothers again said, "I agree." and said, I got to be honest, this is the first platform I've heard, and I watched CNN and I watched MSNBC, and I've never heard anyone, never even heard a Democrat. I've never heard anyone on the national level say that the 2024 election was stolen by Trump. So here's my question. Do you think the reason why that has never been said publicly is because Trump always said the 2020 election was stolen? I just want to, I lost it.
It was said early on, brothers, that the election, there was some foul play with the election. It was early on after the election that there was some foul play involved. It was most definitely national news.
Mm-hmm. He deleted his comment, I guess. So we'll go back. But yeah, all right.
Well, the thing about it, there has been investigation done, and they know that it's some shenanigan has went on, and they know that Elon Musk, just like when he went in with his Doge and purged all these people from their jobs. Some almost 500,000 Black women have lost their jobs in this country because of Trump and Elon Musk and others, Stephen Miller, all of these bigots who are so mediocre that they are afraid of Black women in this country because they are the most educated. So they had to try to get rid of many of them as possible to keep them in debt, so they won't be a threat to them. And because once you dependent on the job somewhat, and you done bought houses, cars, your children going to school, and it's a hurting thing to see what is happening in this country to especially Black women in particular, but white women as well are being purged that don't agree with that system that they have set up. And they purged all the Black men at the very top of the government. I mean, every one of them, whether they generals, whatever they may be, they have purged them and gotten rid of them. And the thing about it, they want to do this all over the world because they are the one that think that they should run the world, and everybody else should be, at their mercy. And what we're gonna have to watch as well is how much land they are buying up, and how they are taking farmers, the small farmers, land from them through tax acquisitions and everything else that they are doing. So that's what we're gonna have to watch as well, because they're gonna intend to control the amount of food that you eat or consume, through that, and what kind of food that you will be consuming.
I guess if you look at it from that perspective, maybe I could be concerned. But I was going to say, I said it before, and I say it again. I don't care nothing about what the farmers in Iowa and North Dakota and anywhere else going through. I didn't give, not they done. I can look at my FERC. I'll look over here, I'll look over there, and I can't find a damn to give. I really don't. Right? But if you look at it from that perspective, then I get it. If you think that they're going to control what we're eating, then that may be different. Well, buying up their property. But again, the farmers put themselves in that category.
They did.
In their problem.
They did that. They did that.
They voted with racism at the top of the ticket, even though Trump put them in the hole and financial ruin in his first term. They said, sign me up for financial ruin again. Let me have it. I want it. Give me all of it.
Yes.
Bankruptcy, here I go.
Yes.
And so they did it again. I'm fine. I'm fine with whatever they go to. They can lose every plot of land, and I would be all right.
The elections can't come fast enough for them.
But I hope it's a slow term. I hope the earth start turning slower so the days get longer. So every day, again, You put yourself in that predicament.
They did.
That's so sad. I don't care.
Hey, them folk that he said, I ain't gonna even feed them in November.
Right.
I might give them half. Them folk voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but he's doing something like, I think it's a $12 billion bailout for the farmers, but the small farmers and black farmers not going to get anything. There's going to be these big mega farmers.
But those white farmers came together and sued when they wanted the black farmers to get their handout. So again, now let me go back and make a disclaimer. All that I said, I that excludes black farmers. I care about.
Of course.
I care about black farmers. Let me be clear. Them other folks, if you lose your farm, your 6th or 7th generation, that's okay because you probably had us picking cotton anyway. So go on. Bye.
And to Jerry's point, brother Derek, that $12 billion bailout, I assure you, was not enough once it's divided amongst the farmers with the debt that they hold and the upkeep and feed and seed and bales of hay. I guarantee you, once it's divided, they are still hurting.
Yeah. Hey, Derek, what about the black farmers? What about the black farmers that voted for Trump?
Well, then y'all are in the same predicament.
That's right. Because they're not really black.
That's
so it's a black farmer that voted for Trump.
Not many. That Burns just playing Angels Africa. That's all.
Yeah, because the white farmers came together and sued to block the black farmers from getting anything after Joe Biden had signed the release that black farmers could get.
That's right. They tied that money up, and they never got it.
No, they never got it.
They never got it.
Still fighting that. Just it goes on back that black farmers have never been compensated for what other farmers has gotten over the years, and so it's a ongoing fight, an ongoing struggle just to get some measly little money for the black farmers in this country, and because it costs. Some got $50,000. Well, a tractor costs you that much.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, a tractor costs you that much. So the measly money that they got years ago, didn't go anywhere. Really, it was a help to buy seeds and maybe a tractor or pay some debts off, but you're still in debt because you didn't get anything. Like white farmers has gotten over the years continuously.
And they are feeling that now. I'm talking about the white farmers with that bailout. They're still feeling it. Like you said, just a tractor alone caused that.
Yeah. And see, that's why they're saying, we would rather sell our soybeans to China than to get the 12 billion bailout, because they know that once, that's going to, you're talking about a depletion of it all over the country. And then some of the people that live outside of the country are getting, because they got farms in the Caribbean, they got farms in other countries, they're going to get that money. And it's going to hurt the farmers that live in here inside the United States. And it's definitely going to, they're going to make sure that black farmers don't get into that $12 billion.
Absolutely. And I guarantee that the terrorists aren't bringing in the millions or the billions that Trump proclaims they're bringing in. I guarantee the terrorists are hurting the economy, and the people that voted for him are the ones that are hurting the most. They voted wrong, and like I said, they can't wait for the tide to turn. And it's turning.
It is. And it should.
It should. This economy is terrible. They want to point to the gasoline, but yet you go and steal 300 billion gallons of oil, it can't help but to be down.
Yeah, they just took those people.
Just took it.
That was one of their biggest financial income in that country, and now you're going to take the majority of it,
right?
At least 80% of it. You're talking billions and billions of dollars that they're going to take out of the economy, and they are left with a measly few billion dollars, which is not enough to cover anything in that country of 34 million people.
Right.
That's one of their biggest resources.
Absolutely.
Jill, go ahead, Derek.
I was going to say I was going to change the subject so that Jill could participate and Christina could come back on the screen in that on their conversation. But I did want to talk a little bit. We talked about Venezuela and whatnot. I guess I wanted to talk about in another country they did bomb us there as well, and that was in Nigeria. And that happened on Christmas Day. What are your thoughts about the bombing that happened in Nigeria?
You talking to Christina or Jill?
Or anybody?
Oh, yeah, I knew when they went over there under the pretense that they was over there protecting Christians, they're helping keep Christians. That was the big one, another big line that he always tell, and we know why they were there because the big oil companies they want those resources, even though they didn't use their oil, the waste of that oil put in lakes and um, things of that nature to mess up the environment for the people. People have been suffering for years from all the waste that came out that they allowed to be put into the environment from the residue of that in the water and where people fish at. So it's been years and years. It took years and years to clean it up a little bit, and it's still there are places where people can't drink the water or fish. People that was their livelihood had to go other places miles away just to fish because these big companies over there have dropped all this stuff in their waterways and have messed up the environment so bad that fish are born with two heads and all of this craziness. So yeah, they they have done this in Africa for years. The residue from uranium and all of that, where they was developing, digging this stuff out the ground, they care nothing about the people. What happened to them after all of the residue of that stuff has done irreparable damage to many people's lives over there and caused all kinds of problems, mentally and physically.
Yeah, and to add to it, the fact that he claims that it's African Christians that he has brought to the United States and is giving them past the citizenship. Now that just happens to be white Africans now.
Yeah.
Ain't a brother with melanin nor a sister then came yet under that ploy. But we clearly see what's happening. It's I tell you, man, pretty much the same thing. Same thing as Venezuela, but now Nigeria. I don't think Nigeria's army is as equipped as the Venezuelan army was. So they're at the mercy of this American dictator.
Yeah, and
Don't forget that. Just keynote. So I know Nigeria requested and cooperated with the strike. The government of Nigeria did. It wasn't just we went in and did what we wanted to do. They requested and we cooperate, and they cooperated. Their government cooperated.
Yeah.
The Nigerian people wanted us to know, though, that it wasn't about Christians because ISIS was killing Christian and Muslim. They didn't care who they killed.
Right.
They still don't, and they still haven't stopped killing people just because they bomb their leadership. They got it. People, they just like us. They got another line of leadership that comes into power and do the same thing.
Right.
So, I think the Nigerian government need to sit down and talk with these people, see what's, or at least what's the problem, what can be done to bring them into to the fold, if anything. And then if not, then you at war with them. So that's the only thing I see that they can do to help resolve some of the problems that ISIS is causing there in Nigeria, and not only in Nigeria, but in other parts of Africa.
Brother Jerry, is Nigeria slightly at fault for not having a better military and defense system?
Well, the thing about it, the Africa is supposed to have set up this like African military that's supposed to be protecting people all over Africa. I can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, that was supposed to help quell a lot of the things, and these was the people supposed to have been helping keep peace from around Africa and throughout these different nations, uh, which is have done a bad job because many of them are nothing but puppets
Yeah.
themselves and supposed to be involved in protecting the
But
continent.
I think it's slightly bigger than them having a united front and a whole bunch of troops. When Barack was asked during his first tenure why he was cutting spending and wasn't building ships, this, that, and the other, like previous administrations had, he clearly said that wars are not fought the same anymore. I think Nigeria and the whole continent of Africa has a responsibility with the technology and war being fought differently now, had a responsibility to itself, to themselves, to have waltzed into this 21st century armed as well, because for them to be at the mercy of the United States at this point because their military game isn't strong is, I think, sad.
I would say the Nigerian former foreign ministry said the strikes have been carried out with the consent of Nigeria. Um, it gets more complicated when you go locally, but if you're looking at it from the country, um, it looks like everything was coordinated. So I believe it's much more complicated than what Trump is saying and what Trump is doing. But again, the Nigerian foreign ministry said the strikes were carried out with the consent of Nigeria.
Of course.
This is different than what's happening in Venezuela. This is different than what's happening elsewhere. The motivation may be exactly the same. Again, Trump cares about Trump. He doesn't care about anything else. But how it was coordinated, how it happened I think it's a little different.
Christina, I agree. It had to be consensual when you don't have a defense to say, no, we don't stand for it and we're not going to have it. It's no accident that Jong-un in North Korea and Iran and Iraq are hell-bent on getting weapons of mass destruction. You hear nothing about that on that whole continent over there. They cannot sit back and wait on everybody, especially here in the Western world. Well, not just the Western world. You got across the Pacific over there, Putin and Jong-un and them, which are natural born killers. And we're going to depend on them to play nice, and we're not going to think that we probably need to buy some stealth bombers and get an up-to-date military. Look, Shaka Zulu was a bad dude, but that was 18th century. We're 4 decades away from that time. It's a different time. It's too much going on to not want to arm yourselves to protect yourselves. Of course, they had to be consensual. They don't have. I mean, a doggone nuke against a machete is a pillar to a gunfight.
Well, South Africa had nuclear weapons at one time till they realized that South Africa, blacks was going to come to power. And then they dismantled it so that they wouldn't have that kind of power to protect the people of Africa and South Africa and other parts of Africa. So they dismantled those nukes and took them out so that like I say, black people wouldn't have access to that kind of power to protect themselves. And, but the thing about it, like you say, it's time for other countries in Africa to upgrade their arsenal to protect themselves. You know, if you're depending on some benevolent white guy to protect you, you're in trouble. You you're in big trouble because when they come, they don't leave.
Right.
You know, Muammar Gaddafi was one of the better presidents
He
in the
was.
whole region
He
where
was.
people had free health care and free education. If you had a baby, you got
Absolutely.
$50,000. You got money for your farm, tractor free, all that stuff.
All of it.
You know, the country was was one of the top economies in the world.
Right.
Debt free until we went in there and destroyed it.
Right.
You know, we went in there and destroyed it and killed him and
Right.
his sons, Muammar Gaddafi.
But-
So it's really something that we do continuously, and then say we're doing it for the benefit of for our interest. No, you're not doing it for our interest. You're doing it for the rich and powerful interests
Right.
of
But
oligarchies of the world.
But Nigeria and most of the countries on that continent are part of the UN. Chuck Kofi Annan led the UN for years.
Yeah, but
Where is the UN now when Nigeria is clearly under attack by an American dictator?
well, out of all, so I think it's 180 some countries that's part of the UN, but 5 countries have veto power over all those other countries. They don't have no permanent seat at the United Nations, and this is what's you got China, you got the United States, you got Russia, and what's the other
North
two
Korea?
countries? Oh yeah, no, or France and
Right.
Great Britain and all them.
UK.
They are all UK. They have permanent seats at the United Nations with power to veto anything that the other nations say, and Israel, but a continent as big as Africa don't have a permanent seat. And this sister, it's been a sister from Africa. I can't think of her name now. She's been saying all along that Africa should pull out of the United Nations. You're there as a puppet only.
Right.
You whatever you vote for can be vetoed and kicked. It don't matter what you vote on. How many nations vote with you? One country can veto everything, and your power, you veto you out of existence, really, in the United Nations, because you really don't have a say so. You just there as
Do they really need to say so if once they come to power, they don't have to worry with all to rebuild and make sure that the nuclear arsenal isn't a thing of the past?
Go ahead, Christine.
I think what you just said was hugely important, and what I would say to that also is I believe it's the same for the IMF and the World Bank, where almost every country is a partner in that, but the U.S. In each of those essentially can override, has the veto power to override anything. Reading from the Council on Foreign Relations, Trump announced on Christmas Day that the United States had struck Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria. The president had accused the group of persecuting and killing Nigerian Christians in the country. The U.S. Africa Command, which is AFRICOM, and Nigerian officials confirmed the strikes in Sokoto, a Nigerian Muslim majority state of 4 million people that borders Niger. Nigerian Information Minister Mohammed Idris said that 16 precision strikes were conducted in coordination with the United States using guided missiles launched from Reaper drones. The minister noted that the attack was carried out with the full involvement of the armed forces of Nigeria and with the explicit approval from Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. AFRICOM stated that multiple ISIS terrorists were killed in the camps and were targeted in the stripes. Nigerian officials characterized the attack as successful. I'll stop there. I think there's more going on than it's definitely not the killing of Christians. There's more going on there. And so I would say that, and I think what we're talking about is fighting terrorism, not fighting Nigeria. I think those are different things. This happened in Nigeria with the consent of those in power in Nigeria. That doesn't mean we're at war with Nigeria. It's targeting terrorists and terrorism groups, which honestly I believe has more to do with what's going on in the Middle East and oil and other issues than it does with anything that comes out of Trump's mouth.
Right.
That's my opinion, but I don't want to sit here and say that we're fighting Nigeria. That's not what's occurring.
But
I agree with that.
You said in the west of Nigeria. You know, in the west you got Burkina Faso, you got Niger, you got Mali, Namibia, all of these countries who have kicked out these individuals from the west. And to me, this is a prelude to get back into Burkina Faso and other places on that continent. And I think the Nigerian president is a puppet of the West. And this is why the young people are really pissed at him, you know, because he's allowing other people to come into the country when if you have all this information where these people are at, why didn't you go and get them? You know, if you had the information and coordinating with the United States, why didn't you coordinate with your military there and go take the people out if that's what you wanted to do yourself instead of bringing in the West into your hemisphere to disrupt because that's what's going to end up happening. Because now what deal did you make to get America over there, if that's the case? What kind of deal did you make? What kind of, as Christine was talking about, how did you work with the monetary funds on that and the World Bank? You know, those are the questions we have to ask ourselves when we're dealing with people like that who once you do that, now you owe X amount of dollars. You had to pay for those planes to come in there. You had to pay for those ships to come off the shore over there. All of that's cost big, huge money. So now what's the price that Nigeria gonna have to pay for years to come because of that?
Right.
Nobody know yet.
Yeah. When he visited the White House some 6 months ago, I did not see that strength that a leader has. To me, he was just, I mean, he spoke well, but his points weren't clear. And he tried to make his point to the madman that it wasn't blacks per se killing Christians, but it was a regime in there. But he just didn't sell it, and he had absolutely no sign of strength, not even in his voice. He just seemed like he cowered to Trump. Now, granted, it was after Trump had humiliated Vladimir from Ukraine in the White House, but still, man, you got to state your case and you got to be strong. But there it goes again. If you don't have that military power backing you up, I mean, I don't know. But I didn't see any strength in his mannerism, his voice, disposition, anything.
Gio?
I was actually going to say, can we spend the next 15 minutes on the rest of the breaking news that has happened across the country? Because there's more. I mean, there's so much going on. And I don't know, Derek, because Derek usually leads us into everything, but you had the fire in Sweden, you've had gun violence, that you've had people that are just literally, from football players that are making millions of dollars killing themselves to young adults that are killing themselves. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of stress and pressure, disappointment, and sadness.
What would you like to talk about?
Oh, well, thank you, Bill. That's so sweet. I think for me, it's what can we do to reach out to our loved ones and the people that we know. This is a difficult time. You just went through the holidays. You just went through the new year. It's scary if you wake up and you look at your phone or the TV and we're at war. What? So how can we help those people that don't have the outlets like we do, or the knowledge that we have to know that you're going to be okay? Because that's scary, especially to our young people who we're telling, hey, you need to get out and vote. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. And then you've got him doing what he's doing. I think it's confusing. And I think that we should spend some time each week, partly to the young demographics, so that they can connect into this, but also to make sure that we're checking on each other, making sure that everybody's okay. And I know that seems crazy until you lose your son, your daughter, your granddaughter, your whoever, your husband, your boyfriend.
I agree wholeheartedly, Jill. We are being bombarded daily with atrocities, madmen, terrorists, fires in clubs on New Year's. I'm a news hound, grew up a news hound, love news, have always liked it, but for the past 6 months to a year, I've had to tune it out, because for a young, impressionable mind, it is easy to get bogged down and then go shoot up the local school if they're not careful. But the people that should be leading us into a free and just and democratic society are showing the world that the integrity is so far gone that it's a dog eat dog world now. So we have to learn to tune it out. We have to tone down on the social media. But truth of the matter is, I've been getting some really good news from social media. And then with AI and where it's headed, sometimes you don't know what's real or what's fake, but it looks so real. But you have to be able to decipher. But we have to let our young folk know that to keep the faith, keep hope alive, and cut back on the news and the social media, and just go out each day and be informed. But a lot of times we got to be careful of what we allow into our psyche, the junk in, junk out, killing in, killing out. So we have to be careful with what we feed our souls and ourselves, and just be aware and keep your head on a swivel. I've got a 19-year-old that I have to constantly tell to be vigilant. When the light turns green, don't take off. Look both ways, folk. People you just got to be vigilant and informed.
I agree. Christine?
I am just grateful to be here, and definitely want to echo what Bill Snow said about keeping your head on the swivel. We were definitely talking to all our boys, saying the same thing just this past weekend, and to take care of each other, not to go down the rabbit hole per se. Make sure to get out, make sure to connect, make sure to love on your neighbor, make sure to do service for your community. You might know somebody who's a single parent. Pick up dinner one day. You might know somebody that's elderly and stuck in their home. Stop by and visit. Just say hello. Bring some cookies or something healthy, you know. But reach out and yeah, and be present. Be there. Be present. Be with them. Not just the checkbox, but be present. It matters, and it makes a difference.
So, Jill, you were saying that people are, are you saying people are committing a lot of suicide? And
Yeah, if you and Bill, I'm like you, I don't turn on the TV news, but I do have my phone. And it's like every between Facebook and just the things that pop up, the people that are literally, I mean, there's the 18, I think she was 18 or 15, 15, 18, the one they just found in Texas. The football player was 23. Like, we're talking about young people. And then, of course, the actors and the other people that is just,
I'll call you back.
how do you say that? Because I don't want to be disrespectful at all to people who are going through situations that make them feel like that's the only way out and that somehow that's better for you. I think they don't think about, and this came from a friend of mine, his wife killed herself. They don't think about what happens when you're gone. Like, it does make it maybe easier for you, but for your loved ones, your kids, your family that is left behind, it is not easy. I just wish that when it's hard to differentiate when somebody says, I'm going to kill myself, or I'm just so upset, or I'm so depressed, or I'm so whatever, to know when to step in, because sometimes you don't want to, you want to give them enough space. But I think in this day and age, you have to take it seriously. And then you've got AI, like Bill brought up. AI, there was an AI that told a child that kept saying, I'm going to kill myself, to go kill themselves. Because you're right. If you say nobody cares about you, they don't. So it's just it's so different than from when we grew up. All of us, no matter what age you are on this show, it is so very different. I know I never went to school and ever had anything other than a fire drill. That's it. Just a fire drill. And we played around with those because we knew it wasn't no real fire. So it was like, do you really want us to go? I can't imagine the shootings that are taking place. And some of those kids are saying, this is not my second time, but third time. So from when they were little to they went to high school and now college, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So I just want to, reach out to our community, to the people that are watching, and say, you know what, if you're hurting, reach out. And if you know a loved one that's hurting, don't brush it off. Take the time, like Christina just said, and reach out. And we really should be doing that anyway. We know, with everything that we went over on the first part of the show, that all of that's going on. What do we have left but each other? That's all we have left. So if we're not looking out for one another, if we're not checking to make sure friends and family and community are okay, then we're never going to get out of this, because we need every single one of us. So I think we have to do the facts. They need to know, hey, this is what's really going on, and kind of give them the truth, because they're not going to get it through the news. But I also think we need to take care of a part of them that says, you know what, you're a young person, and we know this is difficult. And we know that you see things differently, and we know that your ideas are different, but we also know that we're in the fight together. So let's come together. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure that we understand where you're at, but you understand the wisdom and the knowledge and the history that we have, and then find a way and a path to move forward. So that would be for 2026, because it's critical. If we don't start now, it's not going to matter what happens in March, August, and November, because we're going to lose. To win means we have to take care of the full person and the full political realm and the full community. And I think we can do that here because we have that outlet.
Well said. I want to go back. I want to go back on one point. When nobody can identify this, nobody but me and Jerry probably. You mentioned that when you was in school on the drill that you had was a fire drill. Jerry, remember the days when we had the bomb shelter drill? You had to get up on your desk.
Yeah.
Those are tornado tornado drills.
No, those were during the 60s when
Oh
they
yeah.
nuclear bomb threats.
Nuclear bomb.
Cold War.
They tell you to, run. Yeah, they your drill. You run, get up on the
Get on your desk.
Yeah. Obey a pigs right along in 62.
Yeah.
Jill, I will agree that the youth today has a whole lot more to contend with the advent of the internet. But I remember as an 8th grader in middle school, the thing was a water gun. We had pocket water pistols, and that was the big thing. To today, where they've got to have the wands to make sure that you don't enter the school with a gun. They have a whole lot more to contend with. I agree wholeheartedly, and we do need to be vigilant, and we just need to be nice, better people to one another.
The thing about it, I'm glad Jill brought the subject up because it has affected me twice. Because um, well, I lost my son last year on Mother's Day. And before that, lost my wife a year earlier, a year or so earlier. So things affect you in ways that people don't realize. You put on a brave face and go on out there and do what you need to do. But at night, in the loneliness of the night, the pain come pouring. And most people don't realize it because they see you, you're smiling, you're working, you're still doing what you were doing, but you're doing it to keep your mind together as much as possible. But that's a hard feeling to lose someone, and especially your only son or your daughter or anybody that you lose. Um, that's you don't expect that from you don't expect to bury your children, in other words. So to have that happen, it means that you're in pain, but people don't know you're in pain. They think life is going on. You're moving on, but but you're in pain. You're suffering. You're grieving, but trying to keep your sanity at the same time. So
Right.
yeah, it's harsh. And there are many people who are lonely. Bernard and I talked about this just Tuesday, as a matter of fact, last Tuesday, as a matter of fact, before the holidays. Before Christmas, we was talking about the loneliness of people. We were telling people to check on your loved one. You never know what people are going through just because you see them out or something. You don't know what kind of issues plaguing their heart and mind and soul. So uh, it's good to talk about these issues because it has a psychological effect on all of us if we don't do as much as we can to protect our loved ones and people that surround us, and just friends in general. You want to know where they are, what they're doing, how they doing. So if we continue to do that, I think we can save more people from disaster. In other words, and hopefully nobody that listening to us will take themselves out because of loneliness and some issues they have psychologically.
While we're right there, Jerry, I know you were going through, man, and I felt your pain, man, because you had it back to back. But I tried to check on you, and you did
Mhm.
put on a brave front. But I felt the pain, man. I could hear it in your voice, man. So I'm glad I got a chance to check on you. But the MLK breakfast that's coming up here on January 17th over at Zion Hope that Saturday morning, we will be honoring Brother Jerry and Carol McIntosh. So I've got that table that Derek spoke of, and we look forward to honoring you, man. And yeah, much love to you, Brother Jerry, for what you do what Miss Carol did, what she represented, how she impacted my daughter. So I'm just looking forward to honoring you on that day, man. Stay strong.
For sure. Yeah. Derek?
We have, I guess, about 3 minutes or so. Mr. Bill, Count, Christina, and Jill, they're both joining you next on the 17th at your table. And happy MLK breakfast. We have about 2 minutes left. Mr. McIntosh, do you want to go through your book reviews if you have them?
I didn't do my books tonight. I'm gonna have to wait till next week. Waited to the last minute to but okay, Jill got hers. So I'm not Jill, I mean Christine. Sorry about that, Christine. Jill. But go ahead, Christine.
I just highly recommend 107 Days by Kamala Harris. And it has some amazing pictures, and it really takes you back through that time. And yeah, I
Did you get it
highly
signed?
recommend.
Did you get it
I
signed?
did not. No, I did not.
You can go to New Orleans, but she will be there. You can ride over to New Orleans to go and get it signed. Mm-hmm.
When will she be in New Orleans?
I don't remember the date. I know it's coming up. Let's ask.
Christina, you don't know?
I know.
What?
Shirley,
I know I went twice, so I've seen her twice. I've gone to 2 different events, one in Houston and another one in Birmingham. I know she is going back to Birmingham, and she just released a bunch of new dates for where she's going to be, and it looks like
Tuesday, January the 13th. She's going to be at the Sanger Theater in New Orleans, starting at 7 p.m.
Yes. And then even closer, Jackson, Mississippi, January 14th.
Jackson, Mississippi is absolutely no way closer than New Orleans.
About same.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's much further, but all right.
Gotcha. So, but yes, I would love to go again. And both times I went, it wasn't the same. So it was different every time. But definitely read the book if you're not into reading. The audiobook, you can hear the book in her own words. So it's really cool.
If you're not into reading, get into reading.
I'll tell you. All right, it's 9 o'clock, 9:01 now.
Well, we certainly thank everybody for tuning in to our voices. We will see everybody here next week on the 11th. Same time, same place. Have a terrific week, everybody. Be safe, and we'll tune in next time. Take care.
And we'll see you Tuesday on Burning Show. Tuesday morning, and Thursday. Me and you on Thursday, Derek.
Yes.
Thursday morning. Okay.
Thursday morning. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.